Welcome to our top agent producer interview here with Miss Wendy Whitson. We're going to be talking about her success, pretty quick success with DeFord Insurance Group, selling final expense over the phone, working with Tim Hildebrand, our telesales trainer. Kind of give the purpose of this really is to get some insight into her process selling final expense over the phone, how she started, how she got with us, what she's thought about the process. And I think the big takeaways I want to, drive here home, Wendy and everybody else who's watching, is kind of what steps one needs to take to be successful at this business. It's very important that you do the right things. And a lot of agents get into this business, somewhere around 95% or so fail pretty quickly. So it's important to do the right things as quickly as possible. And the good news is that it's very duplicatable. So my hope, if anything, here is to guide everybody as far as possible in the right direction to avoid failure, because a lot of this business ultimately is about survival, and good things come from that. So, Wendy, why don't you give us a little introduction about yourself and how you got into the final expense business?
All right. Well, my name is Wendy. I've been a life insurance agent for about 2 years now. Dave, I've followed you for the last year and a half, seriously. And that's what got me attracted to your business. You and I had talked over 6 months ago, and I told you where I was at with another company taking incoming phone calls all day long. And you said, give it another 6 months. I want you to get your feet wet and then come on over and you're going to be ready to go. Well, it kind of worked out to where that's exactly where it was. I had gotten as far as I could with that other company because they didn't have any more training, what they called training. They had some guiding and just motivation video after motivation video after motivation video, but that doesn't teach you how to talk to another person and understand exactly where you're coming from, the meaning of what you're saying, how to use the script properly. And I've watched all your videos, and Tim is amazing. He's like, we love him. Me and another girl, Lisa, and Mindy too. She's really cute. We're like, we're never leaving.
Well, thank you.
You got to make sure that we can keep our group together, because it's really the training that we're getting in our individual group is just hands down phenomenal.
Yeah. And there's so much to open up here, and I'm going to kind of take it from the beginning. After you and I talked, you started at another, and we won't name the company, but you started at a company where they provided the leads for free to you.
Yes.
And you talked about the training being motivational. What do you feel, if you could dive into that a little bit more, was lacking? Because again, this is the thing. A lot of people think there's training out there, but it doesn't amount more to than a motivational video or, just read this and good luck. Give us some perspective on what it was like to work in that kind of organization and where the shortfalls were.
Yeah. Hi, Tim. So we had meetings every morning, which I thought were really good, but there was no specific training. There was no teaching. Again, it was just motivational videos every morning to keep you motivated. You can do it, work harder, work harder, work harder. Well, I work really hard generally, but if I don't change anything and learn and grow, how do I enhance?
Right.
So that's where I got stuck. Now, they talked about outbound calls and how hard it is, and, having to pay for your own leads, all that kind of stuff. That scared me because I was getting incoming leads and I paid $300 a month.
Right.
Now, I can tell you that outcoming or calling outbound now, I love it. I love it way much more than the incoming. First of all, the type of leads that we have are, I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead here for you.
No, this is great. This is great. Keep going, please.
The type of leads that we're getting through Facebook, through our Alpha Leads, which is a new program you guys have going on. I love it. I feel like the people that answer the Facebook ads are normal people. I've only had one weirdo, seriously.
Really?
Yeah. And it used to be a daily thing.
You're selling final expense, right?
Yeah. And I haven't had one person say, where's the free $40,000?
Yeah.
These people are real, and I've been able to genuinely connect with them. We just listened to one of my calls and I was surprised at myself how it's just, just from the training, it happens naturally. And when Tim was able to explain, now, did you hear her do that? Did you hear her do that? Did you hear this? And then he said, this all just comes naturally. It does when you have the proper training.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, I am so
absolutely.
here to tell you it does. It
So I
really
want to go
does.
back. I want to hit on something you brought up that I think is really important
Sure.
because telesales, the remote model, just and the aggregate, you look at any industry, how can people do their job remotely? It's the big trend. There's a lot of interest. There's more interest now, I think, in telesales than face-to-face final expense, although both work quite fine. One of the things that comes with telesales that you don't necessarily get with face-to-face, and this is what I want your insight and kind of digging deeper on, is the fact that you can, in theory, get people who call you, who've seen a commercial, who the way it's sold is they can't wait to call you and buy a policy. You've worked this in this particular call center because they're running TV leads. That's that $40,000 thing. That sounds like a TV lead to me.
Yeah.
What's your experience really been like working that kind of lead again versus what a lot of people are like, I don't know if I want to do that. Call Facebook leads. Go into detail about the pros and the cons and really the differences.
Yeah, it's huge. The TV leads, which is where quite a few of what we were getting in the other company, the people just felt like it was a fraud. You're telling us something that's not really true. Is this government issued? They're not giving us free money. That was the other thing, free money, free money. The leads that I'm getting now are people that are seriously genuine. Like you said, they want the insurance. I had a client yesterday, her and I had both worked medical for years. And once we talked and clicked, it was like hook, line, sinker.
Yeah.
And I'm going to rephrase that. It's really not hook, line, sinker. It was just, here's what we really have. This is the honest way. And she was like, oh my gosh, finally somebody that's talking my language and, felt secure, felt safe. I wasn't trying to make up stuff to make her more interested. It really is what it is.
Right.
And I'm going to get her the best bang for her buck,
But how does that compare to the TV leads? I mean, the way it's presented is that the TV lead, they can't wait to talk to you and buy. Are you suggesting that the TV leads aren't as good as they're made out to be, or what's your thinking?
My thinking was, if it's the way that they're presented, I believe it's just the wording, to try to get, it's the marketing. I feel like the marketing is much better with you than with anybody else that I've experienced because it's real. I mean,
Right.
I feel like this is all really real. And just for a lack of words there for a moment, watching you, Dave, and talking with Tim now, and after being able to see what you do over the years has all remained the same. There's been no Kool-Aid. Everything has been for us. It doesn't, you're not like an MLM company that's trying to, make a buck here, make a buck there. We just had a conversation earlier, and I just wanted to thank you again for what you do to make this seriously profitable for us as well, because I did sell quite a bit out there. I got to where I couldn't sell anymore because I didn't have enough training. Like
Right.
I couldn't go any higher, but I wasn't making any money.
Right.
Yeah. So now I'm making some money and I'm ready to go.
Dave, we should ask her there. Like, she made quite a bit of money at one of her months as far as AP goes. And because of the way the system's set up, she walked away with like no money at all. So how much AP did you earn in that month, Wendy?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was the quarter. It was like 65,000 in the quarter. And I came home with literally nothing. Yeah.
65,000 in a quarter and no profit, basically. Wow.
Yeah.
So it was scary because 46 of it was, can I say the companies?
Sure.
And then through the company I was with, I only got paid $75 per application. That was it.
Wow. Yeah.
So there wasn't, and my percentages were 40%, nothing like here where you can actually make the money.
Right. That, by the way, that was Tim Hildebrand, our telesales trainer. And I want to throw this out here too. Yeah. And I appreciate your nice words that you're giving me, but I want to extend this to Tim, and maybe Tim can explain a little bit about what we're doing. Tim approached me with the idea of doing an internal lead program, and it's been, I would say, just revolutionary. And it's worked wonderfully well. It's still kind of in beta test mode. I may be saying too much, Tim. I'm sorry. But it's worked so well. And Wendy's using this program. And that combined with Tim's excellent training has just been fantastic for the results, not just for Wendy, but for many. Tim, you want to pop in and kind of explain what we're doing, kind of give a little little sneak peek as to what's going on beneath the roof or the hood?
Yeah, we're just sort of maybe 2 or 3 or 4 weeks ahead of ourselves, but it's okay because right now we're already getting the fruit of it. Wendy's leads right now are at $4.25, and it's on that same quality that she's talking about. So we're going for highest quality, cheapest price, not just cheapest price, and incorporating the marketing prowess of a real marketer, somebody who really knows ad copy, really knows creatives and videos and stuff, and knows Facebook's backend to cycle things out and all the technical stuff that nobody wants to learn. Let's just be honest. Nobody has the capacity to do that while you're also trying to learn final expense sales. And maybe in month 8 or 9 or 12 or next year, you might get into marketing or something. But and God knows a lot of us have tried, but frankly, it's just better to let Dave do it on Dave's account. And Dave's the kind of guy who just was like, you know what, I don't need to take any profit on these leads. And I might have been the guy to try to ask him, dude, why don't we just take a couple bucks off the top? It's valid business profit. But in a sense, Dave was like, no, I think let's keep it at where I'm not getting anything on that. And it just so we can pass that down to the agents, because it really is important on telesales that you have a cheaper lead that's fresh and exclusive. You're paying 15, 17, 20. I've done the math 18 different ways, and I'm not exaggerating. Literally, there's almost no way that you can profit in telesales buying leads that expensive. It's almost zero. You have to get referrals to make profit at that point.
And let me add in here. So what we've done here, and by the time you guys are watching this, it's already rolled out. This is probably 2 or 4 weeks out anyway. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about it. Okay. The program we're doing is called Alpha Leads. And what it is a combination of self-generation of leads without all the hassle and headache that comes with it. That's the biggest issue. And I would know because we do, if you guys are on my email list, I email you 15, 20 times a week, and we're selling courses here, we're selling courses there. And there's nothing wrong with self-generation of leads, but the problem is learning and maintaining and developing that skill along with selling. As I've always said, I don't like new agents self-generating leads because it's a new burden you've got to stack on top of the burden of learning how to sell. And so what really with Tim's lead here, 100% is Tim's initiative, is this idea of a middle ground where you'll get the benefit, you'll reap the rewards of a self-generated lead, which is control of the quality or the intent, which is much better than buying a lead, in combination with getting the leads at wholesale. You're not paying a markup like you would buying leads from a vendor. So like in Wendy's case, it's a $4 and change, right? For good quality leads. Yeah. But in exchange, the added benefit is for a small monthly fee to the agent. You now have somebody, a professional within our organization, managing those leads for you. So it's a managed lead program. So it gives you that best of both worlds. Yeah, you got to pay a little bit of a fee, but for what you get in return,
so worth it.
Absolutely out. And nobody really is doing this in the final expense space. It's either you're going to buy our leads or you're going to buy from somebody else, or good luck figuring it out on your own. And so we're offering this, I think, just really good middle ground where you get the best of both worlds. You work with the professional, but you get cost leads, which is really, for, like Tim says, important and vital for any sort of success in telesales, just driving that cost down so you can drive your ROI up. And Tim, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, 5 out of the 6 people right now are in single-digit leads for the same quality that Wendy was talking about. Controlling the marketing is super important. If you've got a TV ad telling them, like, I don't know, $20 a month was one of the TV ads that I had worked in the past, and like everybody wanted it free, $20 a month, and they think they get 40 grand for $20. So you control the marketing, the message, and you have people coming in at the right intention and the right understanding, then you can actually have a real conversation with them. For the most part, there's still trash. You still got to deal with it. But 5 out of the 6 people we have in the program, we've got them down to the single-digit numbers. It takes time. You do have to, give it some time for the ads to get out of the learning phase, and you've got all that to think about. If you don't know what that is, we'll educate you and stuff as we bring you into the program. You don't have to worry about that. And then also it's that one-on-one training as we bring you into the program. I don't want to throw anybody just, here you go, see if you can make it, $5 leads, $6 leads. I don't think that would work very well either.
Wendy, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, Tim. Thank you. So when the leads are building up, and getting ready, that was like such perfect. It was perfect for me because it took me time to learn Tim's style of teaching, learn, do what he was telling me to do, work on my script, work on this, work on that, learn the systems. It just all works so perfectly together. If I would have got slammed with all that in the beginning, I would have been like, oh my gosh, how do I, do my CRM? How do I, get all my companies up, how am I going to get it all organized on my computers? And it all just happened, like, I'm telling you, perfect. And
Yeah.
Tim, heaven sent, both you guys, I can't say enough. Tim puts up with us, wah, 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 calls us on our stuff.
Well, the only
Sounds
reason
like.
the only reason I can implement the full impact training along with a freaking lead program is
Yeah.
because Dave Duford has said yes. And he's analyzed it and he's put in his input and he's made it better. And that's the only reason that this even can exist. Because I could see myself totally, let's say, working at somewhere else and people just going, no, no, you can't do that. We're doing this. So no, don't do that. And it's like, but this would be better. This is clearly like so innovative. It's so good. But no.
Yeah. It really is and I appreciate you managing this whole process, Tim, because it's, when it gets into the detail stuff, I go, so thank you for that, especially with Facebook marketing. As you can tell, I've never really been a self-generation person myself. So I appreciate the help there.
I tried. I can't do it.
Yeah. What was it like? Talk to us about trying to do it on your own.
Okay.
I think that would be good for perspective. Yeah.
Absolutely. I tried. I did. I hooked up with the guys. They are awesome. Those guys are rock stars. I couldn't do it and sell and learn this at the same time. I mean, I've heard you say this from day one, do one thing and do it well. And then if, eventually you want to go and do something different, you can. I mean, I went out, I was videotaping myself, doing all my sales. I'm out at the park with the waterfall, doing the stuff. I got my dogs in the background, trying to be natural, sending it to them. And then finally I was like, okay, I got to make some money. Like I can do all that stuff, but I need money. I mean, my husband was looking at me going, what are you doing? I'm like, give me another 5,000, give me, and he's like, okay, trusting me. Cause I'm like this, he's seen you. Now I've talked about you for a long time, David. And so I'm like, this is the guy. This is the guy. So, and he's like, oh, I mean, you've been real, you've been honest, and everything that you have said has always played out. And you stand by it. And Tim, you were telling us, today we were all talking, that you are keeping it real. You're keeping it for us. And that's what it's, thank you for being so gracious and letting us, profit alongside you.
Wendy, give us some perspective on the training, going back to what you said with the other company you were with. There wasn't a lot of training. But obviously with us at DeFord Insurance Group, every agent that joins gets a one-on-one mentor, gets somebody to work with who's credentialed and experienced in the business. Can you kind of elaborate to the audience a bit that may not be familiar with our operation, how training works and what kind of benefits you got out of it?
With you guys?
Yes, please.
Oh, gosh, yes. Yeah, so meeting up with Tim, we would talk. We got to listen, he teaches us as he's talking, first of all. I mean, he's like, you guys getting this? And you just learn to fall right into how he's taught every time he teaches us something, whether we're talking about the script or listening to each other's calls, which has been phenomenal, and breaking it down piece by piece. Do you guys understand? Do you hear it? And everybody getting to have their comments on it, and then listening to everybody's, how they're perceiving it is huge, just huge. And I have to, again, you have to have somebody on the other side. Like you could sit with somebody and break down a call. We were told to listen to our own calls prior. This is different because now we have somebody that can teach us what that means and what we're hearing and what are we trying to portray to the client, know?
Right. Tim, give us some more perspective on your style of training. Some of it's changed recently in an effort to be more helpful to more agents. Give us a rundown on kind of how you approach training and getting agents up and running.
Yeah. So we'll bring you on with quite a lot of homework, but it's stuff you have to practice before you get on the phone. There's no way I want to send anybody to the phones talking to real people without having actually gone through that script and that process a lot. at least 30, 40, 50 times before you finally get on the phone. And then I don't want you on the phone by yourself. I don't want you to be alone. So we put you in a very small group of anywhere from like 3 to 5 people. And every day for an hour a day, 5 days a week, you're going to listen to other people's calls, listen to your own calls, track your metrics, understand what metrics even are and how they're so impactful to your ability to produce income. And every day over and over, you're going to get that for as long as it takes. And you should be making sales within that first week. As Dave has always said, it's very clear, especially with this kind of hand holding and direction. It should be very obvious that you're making those sales in that first week. Assuming you do that, then we just keep going on week after week after week. And my personal opinion is that it takes a couple of months with telesales, because telesales is, there's a lot to learn. And so what we're doing, just like Wendy was saying, is what I'm specifically trying to do is to just chop that call into every little single thing. So every little piece of sales acumen and understanding and insight. So you can be like, I didn't see that. I don't even understand what you're talking about. You can talk back and you say, what does that mean? I can explain it to you. You can understand what are we doing here in sales? What are we even trying to do on the phone? What is this all about? And how is what we just heard totally neutered? Like what we just heard is not going to have any impact. What we just heard sounded okay. It sounded like eloquent, but there was no connection. There was no meat to it, no heart to it. So we're trying to show what does that mean? What does heart mean? What does connection really actually in reality? And it's just this stuff that is you have to pay a lot of money to get somebody to actually tell you sales on this level, to be honest. I used to pay my coaches about $500 an hour.
Yeah, and we don't charge for training, y'all. Now
I feel so blessed.
Yeah, and thank you.
Seriously.
I mean, with us, there's a lot that you got to know, and we put a lot of pressure on you in a positive way, but understand it's for your welfare, right? Because as soon as you get on that phone, the last thing you want to be is not prepared. You don't want to take your valuable money buying leads and not being ready, right? So, and that's the thing Tim has really pushed the envelope on is getting agents as successful as possible, as soon as possible, and putting in the programs in place to really develop that out. And we're super proud because it's a tough business doing telesales, but you've got to be well trained. You got to be well prepared.
And you do. And Tim does a really good job as far as keeping us motivated, but in a positive way, not beating us to the pulp, like you got to do more, you got to do more, he's like, oh, you got it. Look at, you're here. Look at where you're at now. You're here. Look at where you're now here. And just keeps feeding us up that ladder. And I have never been treated that way ever. My husband is really nice, but seriously, now I've only been married for 3 years. So no, I'm just teasing. But no, he does. He lifts us up in a positive way with that. Shows us the positive. What are you doing? And look at, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Well, maybe we need to work on that. It's not like there's none of that
there's no browbeating. There's no rudeness or disrespectful. We'll tell you what you need to hear, but it's in a firm, fair way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
and he
true.
tells you that straight up front with our meetings too. In the morning, when we first started, you guys aren't going to like it. I'm going to tell you like it is. And now we're all like, ooh, tell us more. In the beginning, it was a little bit uncomfortable, but now we're like, all right, now what? Like push me here, push me there.
It's like, what's the consequence? You could just not get critiqued, keep screwing up, keep wasting money like most agents do, and then really suffer from something that's bad, which is a loss of money, time, depression because you're not getting the results you intended to, and we don't want to avoid problems. We want to head for them straight on.
Yeah, Dave, I would even mention too that I think a lot of that is that group specifically is very coachable, willing to listen, willing to be corrected. I mean, they're head in the game kind of stuff from them.
For sure.
I have one other group where half the people are head in the game, the other half are not. So it's like, it's a testament also to Wendy herself that she's really progressing.
It's easy when you get somebody who's a 7 or 8 and make them a 9 or a 10, right? It's
yeah. But what's worse, Dave, is a 7 or 8 that just won't listen.
That's right. That's true. That's true. That's why we do the interview and application process now at our agency, because
think that's
You know, just because you can buy leads or because you think you should work with us doesn't make it a good fit, because we have a particular set of things that we look for that we know we need to see for somebody to be successful. And all agencies should have it. Most don't, but it helps us help the agents that are like Wendy, who's very aligned with what we do. You know, it's so much easier for us to take you to the level you want to be when you're coachable and you've got work ethic, right? And all the things that we'd hope.
And
more
I
agents
didn't
have.
realize, I mean, when I had to be interviewed, I was like, wait a minute, but I did an interview before with you, David. This should just be like a, hire me on. And it wasn't. I mean, I went through the interview and it made me, invest more, because you weren't just taking me for whatever,
Right.
it made it,
Thank you.
it more real. And you have to do the work. And it just makes, the more real and straightforward everything is, the more I trust. And I really had to put my trust in. I mean, I had to really trust and kind of let go of everything I thought I knew and start new and go, here, just tell me what to do. I mean, and I really did when I was going to all those other companies. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess I got to go here. I got to go there. And finally I was like, somebody help me. And
Right.
you guys were so gracious and, redirected me and just stay right here. You got it.
And Wendy ranked number 2 last week on the weekly wins board. So that's
Yeah. So what did you put up? 5,000 in premium. What was it again? Exactly.
500.
I think it was
6,500.
6,500. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, on her
Yes,
second
get it right,
week.
Dave.
On her second week.
So let's walk through that. So give us kind of a day in the life of what it's like to sell over the phone. There's a lot of people who are watching this live or future recording. Maybe they're thinking about final expense telesales. Take us through kind of what like a day was the last week where you wrote 6,500 in premium, which I think was like 5 or 6 policies, if I remember right.
Yes. It's being able to turn off the outside world when my door's shut. I have 3 dogs with me. Everybody knows mom's work. It's a work day. Come on. They're right here below me. I shut my door and I have to tune in to work. And that was hard for me for a little while. And it was just, you just keep doing it. You just keep doing it. I fought a lot with getting started. Thank God I had Tim. He's like, what's going on? And this is where that training came in, that fear, all that stuff in the back of your head. I'm not going to make it. Being told you're doing great. What are you thinking? And just trusting that and moving forward. And you got to get up. I get up every day. I do the same thing. I have my quiet time. I play with my dogs, my horse, whatever, and get on the phone. And I have to be on by like 9 o'clock. So I have a time. And then I work till 5 or 6, depending. I have different church meetings and stuff I get to at night, but everything, it just works if you just work, you get up, really try to focus. There's a lot going on right now, and Oscar was so cute yesterday. He's like, so it's going to be kind of a blur right now because we're just pushing really hard. And I love it. I mean, I'm like, bring it on, the more the merrier. That's always been my work ethic. I work hard, but I play hard too. I like expensive things. And not to look fit, you know what I mean? But like horses are expensive. Okay. So stuff like that. Horses are expensive. Dogs. I have one that's becoming more expensive every day. And it's not because she's cute.
Yeah, no.
I ain't buying her stuff. It's vet bills. So, stuff like that. Life happens.
So you're getting on the phone at 9.
Get on the phone at 9.
You're making outbound calls. So you're calling these leads.
Yes.
And do they remember filling out the information? What kind of response you're getting when you're calling them?
Absolutely, they do. And there's some people that don't. It's really funny because like you got to catch them that first, I don't know, half a second on the phone. I'm like, well, hi, Mary, this is Wendy. And then they're like, wow. I'm like, it's almost like I wait a second, like, don't you remember who I am?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, just a quick call to help you or give you the information that you requested over the phone or, over the internet. And it's just the rapport that I make with the people. And it's just from learning from you guys. I don't even want to say this, but I've been wanting to say it for a couple of weeks, that it feels easy.
The E word. Ah.
And I said I was never going to say that. Knock on everything. So
I knocked on whatever.
But it's so different, from those outbound calls or the inbound calls, because I was pitching everything, every call that came in. Now the people that I pitch are like, oh, okay. It's like a whole different world, and I'm here. I'm here in my home every day. But I make sure I work every day too. I mean, I make sure I have my window right here. I'm looking at my garden. There's birds outside. I do take time to get up, go walk. I take care of my father-in-law. I don't have VA home here today. 3 days a week they're here. So I can still hear where he's at. You know, we're getting to the point where I might need somebody every day. He's 87. But so he knows, like, hang on a little bit. I'll get you lunch when we're done. And I have the freedom to be able to take care of him. And now, you know, I still set boundaries with him though. I'm like, you're going to have to wait. You can't come in here and talk to me while I'm on the phone. They now know when my door is shut, it's you know, my husband will come in, of course, but he just knows, he does whatever and then walks back out and gives me that freedom. And I've had family come over, and I've had to tell family, you can't come over because I'm working, because I couldn't concentrate in the beginning, especially when it was new. So they all thought I was this crazy. I'm like, crazy or whatever. This is my life. This is my job. And this is what I'm doing. Like, can you hear that now? The guy's doing the tile. He's cutting wood.
No, I can't hear anything. No, it's great.
Oh, excellent. Good.
No, nothing. It's funny, you know, it's funny. I think if you guys are getting into telesales and want to, whether it's with us or remote or with anyone else, you know, I think the thing you really have to be intentional about is setting boundaries. I mean, like physical boundaries. Like if I could turn my camera around, I could show you here. Let me see if I think that. I've got my blinds here. That's my door, right? So I close them. That's the sign that should be the sign to my family. Leave me alone. I'm working right now, right? And you have to delineate that, because I'm at home, and it's like if the kid's being bad and, you know, dad needs to intervene, you know, they may just come in if they don't understand the boundary. So yeah, you have to do that, or otherwise you just won't get a lot done. You get a lot less done than you think. Even though you're at home, there's all those temptations to kind of.
Oh gosh, yeah, to go clean. You know, he just did the tile and there's dust everywhere. And I'm like,
I bet, yeah.
It'll be there tomorrow. You know, it'll be there this weekend. So I'll just have to get it. If anybody comes over, whatever. I mean, I can't. I used to be a freak about it, and now I can't. You just can't. Now I'm like, you know, once you just get into this and like, this is my life. I wanted to be able to do something that I could do when I get old, and I want to be able to do this forever. You know, when I'm 70, I could still be talking to people with one leg. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't have diabetes.
In the nursing home, in the bed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Yeah, you got to pay for those nursing homes. They're expensive.
Yeah, it ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Tim, wrap this up for us. Kind of give us some insight here. I'd like, again, to think from the perspective of the possible newer agent out there. What does Wendy get right when it comes to being an agent and having success that you'd like to see duplicated in other agents?
Yeah, Wendy gets right that she was willing to listen. She was willing to comply. She was brave, and bravery, of course, we know is doing something in spite of fear, not because you're ignoring fear, but the fear still stays there. So she had still the same fears and anxieties as everyone else, but she chose to act anyways. She went along with me, and she came in and she listened and she applied and she did the thing over and over and over. She, you know, she didn't quit. You know, when things were, maybe there was a day she didn't make a sale, and, you know, there's a lot of anxiety on those days. But she's able to go forward. And at this point, you know, she's saying that it's easy, but this is what I would tell people. The reality is that for me, this is easy. So if you'll follow what Dave and I are doing here, we can lead you to that place, but through much difficulty.
Oh, yes.
The place of ease. Like, there's a lot of difficulty along the way. It's not easy to get there, but once you can get to a place where, you know, all you really need to do is have time on task, because your talent applied is actually kind of easy to apply. But that you got to, you know, this is something for new agents for sure, is you have to put boundaries on your calendar. And I'm working from this time to this time. I'm not going to the grocery store. I'm not going to go take care of the kids. I'm not doing this. And like, fill in the blank excuse of why you're not working. That's when you're working. And this is when you're working. And your lunch is only this long. Your lunch isn't 2 hours, by the way. You should probably have like a 30-40 minute lunch or something. And then make sure people aren't coming in to interrupt you. It's unbelievably incorrect that if you're on a call and then you're like, oh, hold on. Yeah, dear. Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah. Oh, honey, hold on. 1 second, Miss Jones. You know, it's just totally incorrect. Yeah. Nobody cares about your love for your family. So there's a dynamic. You have to work, right? So if you're willing to work and you know you're that person, you're like, I'm a hard worker. I'm going to work. I can throw some money at this. I can make this happen. I can be coachable. I'm not filled with my own ego about my pedigree and everything I've done in sales, then by all means, that's what it takes.
And I'll add this into here to notice the lack of hard skills mentioned. All Tim talked about are the soft skills, the character traits, right? Like if you come in with the right mindset, we'll take care of the rest, at least with us. And I think this is true pretty much anywhere else. If you have a work ethic, if you have discipline, if you have an openness to being coached and critiqued and not take things personally, the ability to deal with adversity and to certainly put time on task, this business is wide open for those people to do that. And that's so incredibly important in your success, whether it's with us, if you watching this or thinking about wanting to apply with us or potentially working anywhere else, that has to be there if you want to have success. You can be the greatest salesperson in the world, but if you lack those character traits, you just won't ever get traction.
Right. Real quick, I just want to add in there what I meant by, being easy. Easy. Yes, it's getting easy, but it's because of the training.
Right.
The training that I'm receiving is making it easy. I'm not struggling for words. I'm not struggling to figure out how to get this person to sell. All the training I've gotten has just, it's all becoming natural. That's what I mean by easy. And I didn't know how to say that till just now. I'm like, oh my God, I love the people I talk to now. I mean, they're just amazing.
You have to follow the path to get there.
Yes. Yeah.
Otherwise, this is an excruciatingly difficult task.
It's been excruciating
without the path and which direction to go. And you have 6 different choices and what to say, what to do, how to do it, how much should I do it? It's just becomes so draining without that help.
Well, Wendy and Tim, thank you so much for being here. For those of you watching, if you're interested in applying and learning more about DeFord Insurance Group, we're actively recruiting agents full-time to telesales. We also recruit face-to-face agents, part and full-time there. And we also have a free lead program for face-to-face agents if you're not quite comfortable buying leads yet, and you kind of want to start with free, fresh, and exclusive leads. If you'd like to learn more about that, go to daviddeford.com/FAQ. And Wendy and Tim, thanks for being here. Appreciate you.